Frankie here. Today I am joined with Ives Rockforce crew to talk about experience and knowledge on break. And Ives, thank you so much for joining me today. It's truly an honor to be able to help share your story, brother.
Dude, thanks for having me, man.
Let's just get straight into it, man. Let's just recap from yesterday. Ives is fresh off a win from Breaking for Gold, Los Angeles Regionals. How do you think the event went, man?
I think it was dope, man. I haven't battled in a while, so this is kind of like my first feeler battle to see like where I'm at in my dance, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I like how the flow went. It was straight to the point, not a lot of waiting. I think that's what a lot of dancers are wanting nowadays, is just to slam through the event, opposed to a waiting game all day. It was dope, man, and just to battle my crewmate in the finals was even cooler. It didn't really feel like a battle at that point. It was just having fun.
That's a really interesting point that you make at the beginning there. We're there to do a job. You know, you want to try to have fun at a jam, but for these high-level guys, a lot on the line. We want to keep the event moving, and we're not necessarily there to chill. We can say hi or whatever, but...
Absolutely. Funny you mentioned that. There was some people that wanted to have a conversation, but I'm like, all right, I gotta warm up. You gotta know that cutoff. Okay, we gotta get in the zone now, so yeah.
I gotta say, the most heartbreaking thing of the night, we gotta mention this. We got to miss your semifinal with Vig.
Really looking forward to that battle. He would have pushed me for sure to do more structured things because he's such a structured dancer, but also for me to have the dance on my side, I just thought it would have been an amazing contrast and exchange with that guy, especially knowing that he's one of the top people that I battle like that always push me to my limit for sure, but maybe in the future, you know?
All right, so we're gonna actually watch one of your rounds.
Yeah, Wu-Tang is like the go-to music, man. Yeah, that was just about writing the music, really, you know? So I've been noticing this throughout most of the Breaking for Gold events. I don't see a lot of this being brought to the platform. Raw dancing, freestyling. I definitely want to be a change in a sense to kind of bring that to the table for this realm of dance, especially on the Olympic platform, because we can't lose that essence. Of course, you need to have moves, but to put the dance first, I think that is definitely something that we need to do more often.
Last night with the judging criteria and such, so you don't think too hard on that?
Not at all. In my opinion, the way I view it is like, if you think too hard about the criteria and you let the criteria determine where your dance should lead to, it may do good for you or it may not. It just all depends what you want out of this dance. For me, it's always been my job to be a well-rounded dancer. So it's almost like second nature coming into these judging systems. But for everybody else, they may only have moves. They may not have the dance aspect. It comes down to staying true to yourself. That
well-roundedness of being a dancer, it makes everything else fall into place.
The way I view it, yeah.
Anchorage, Alaska, your breaking career started in 2007. Elements of Rice, Express Original Rhythm, Anchorage Assassins, and one of the big things that you've previously described is how your journey involved humble beginnings where there's essentially very limited opportunities for dancers or hip-hop artists. I think it's really interesting to think about that from today's perspective, considering now you've had some success. What is it about you as a person that has gotten you to this stage of today, considering that you didn't have the motivation of a big scene?
Shout out to one of my first crews I ever got down with, EOR, and also Alaskan Assassins. Yeah, they were like my elders in Alaska growing up. Yeah, I think coming from a small city, that alone has opened my eyes. And most importantly, my parents and what they've been through. We were an immigrant family. My parents came from the Philippines very early here in the States to work like $5 per hour jobs, just to make sure that myself and my siblings, I have 3 older brothers, which my parents left my 3 older brothers for like 12 years just to come to America to build that foundation for us, and that's when they had me. I was the firstborn in the United States in our family. I just think about that every time, and what it took for me to have this privilege to build a platform for myself as an artist, most importantly as a human being. Thinking about that daily and having the limited resources in Anchorage, Alaska, it proves that you can make your own opportunities. I kind of manifested this for myself growing up because I grew up in an era where YouTube was just getting popular, and we were fortunate enough to have that platform. So I was definitely a kid who just nerded out and took advantage of that. But every time I would practice or every time I was with friends, I would always manifest and think about how whatever I'm practicing right now, or wherever I'm at, whether it's at a local rec center, in my garage, in my living room, I would always envision myself battling already on a big stage. Not necessarily being the best, but just making it at a high level of dance growing up. I already kind of had a sense that this is the route I wanted to take, and growing up, things just fell into place because of the love and the dedication and the effort I just put into the dance, you know what I mean?
The first point you're talking about, the upbringing and understanding, you know, the challenges that your parents had to give you the resources that you have. There's the old adage, right? We need to be reminded more than we need to be taught.
I like that, yeah.
You're reminding yourself daily, you know, you have a job to do. You have a responsibility, not just to yourself. Is that about right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sometimes your why changes, but luckily you have people you love that help you stay focused. Shout out to my girlfriend. She's a big person in my life that influenced me in an amazing direction. Like you said, you find these individuals that kind of really all you need. Shout out to my homie Germs, my best friend right there. He's like a brother to me. Like, that's the only guy I practice with on the daily basis, you know? That kind of proves that you don't really need a big city or a big scene or a big group of people to push you. As long as you're good up here and you feel great here, that's all that matters, man.
Fast forward into the future from 2007. Lose Lee has played a big role in your personal development, as you described. You guys trained together.
Right.
Also helping, I guess you could say, professionally with finding other dancers when it came to Rockforce in 2015.
Yeah.
And you have this story about how you won 2 battles in one day.
Yeah.
And these are high-level battles. These were no fish. So we're going to watch the first battle.
You'll never see me in skinny pants like that ever again. Ooh, I forgot to do that move yesterday. Oh man, it's almost cringy watching this stuff. It's funny. To me, it's really funny. The progress throughout the years, I think it shows a lot in my dance. For here, it looks like I was very reliant on my moves. I was kind of showing that I was listening to the music. See, this is Apache, the break beat, and I was trying to demonstrate the rock a little bit, but the gestures I was doing didn't make sense. And also, just what I'm wearing, I would never wear this nowadays either. Style evolves. That translates to what you wear too, and just the whole attitude. I know at this time my mindset was just trying to be the best, which is not a bad thing, but in being the best, it kind of takes away the fun sometimes. You gotta have a set goal, set mindset to begin with first, and then as you get older, as you mature, it changes. Right? Just watching through this, I could feel how I was back then, so it's kind of nuts, yeah, dude.
So I actually want to watch the second battle. The story here, apparently, is you had 2 battles in one day. Could you talk a little bit about that?
This day, these 2 battles that we're watching right now, is the first day I got down in Rockforce. These were the first dubs I've had out of the state of Alaska too. Man. For me, it was a little different because, to be honest, I've never vibed out with a lot of these guys that I'm dancing with today in this crew. Only person I knew on a personal level was probably Lo, which she was battling here actually. And yeah, again, just I was really on my signatures though. Like I was able to pull those off like nothing. It's funny that we watch old footage because you could always learn some, right? Yeah, it looks like here I was I was just able to like snap into like a structured thing. I think that's what I lack now too. I'm so into the freestyle realm, but here it was like, okay, signature here, signature there.
This training clip that you have, 2013, 2014.
Yeah, so there's a moment in my life where I just wanted to get power moves, dude. Power moves were life to me at one point. This is my senior year of high school, actually. Dang. Injury-free high school. Missed those days.
Who gave you the idea to practice tricks?
Tricks was always that was like the first thing I ever did. Growing up in '07, like all I did was freezes, air chairs, and all that stuff.
And that goes for the flips too?
Yeah, I was always just a sporadic kid growing up. Probably like 75% of this stuff I can't even do anymore.
I mean, you were doing everything. You were going to the ground, taking it up, coming up, back down.
Yeah, that's the thing about power. Like if you say you got power, you need the ground power, the air power, floats.
Is there any advice maybe you could give to a younger crowd looking at this footage from now and taking it to the journey that you are today, being the all-rounded b-boy? What can we take away from that timeline?
I think that you could take anything away from whatever you're trying to learn in your journey, whether you're looking in the past, like we're watching right now. And just to be real with yourself, think about how your life was around this time. What was your priorities like in this dance? Because obviously for me, it looked like it was power, right? So it's just being like, okay, if that's where I'm at, and let's say you're still doing power today, you know, how could you expand out of that? For me, I really like to advocate for just really being different. I think that's the goal as artists, right? Is to stand out and be different. And try to unlock the best version of yourself. I think that's the main key, right? We're trying to be the best versions of ourselves daily. We try, right? And I think to continuously be curious about your dance, what's next? What's next? What's next? What can I do now? I think that alone has influenced my drive to another level. Because you'll never know unless you just go for it. We can ask this question and be curious, but for us to never actually put effort into figuring it out, we'll never know. We'll take that to our grave, you know what I mean? So why not try to figure it out? Just do whatever is natural to your body. Power came natural to me growing up. I learned air flares in a year. Some person might learn really clean windmills to begin with. You might learn air power first. Try and figure out what goes well with your body type, because we all have different body types, right? In breaking, there's natural abilities that you have that other people don't. So I think is to really highlight those physical capabilities you have and go from there. And go back to the foundation, obviously. Like, let's say you learn air flares first. Okay, now let's learn your windmills, let's learn your halos, let's go on your elbows, let's learn your 90s. But like I said, fall in love with what you're good at. I remember this event clearly.
Yeah, how sharp you were, how explosive you were, and you were hitting all the beats. No wasted movement, this entire bracket. What do you remember from this event?
I remember that this whole summer of 2018, I did not take one rest day. I was breaking daily, training daily, running daily, juicing daily. This was a time in my life where I really wanted to be a high-level b-boy. And I felt like I had to prove myself at this time. So I just trained every single day. I wanted to make sure I was putting crazy hours into dance. The work that I put in was really, it helped a lot. Like, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, 2018 was a big year for me in terms of just staying focused and driven. So the points that you made, how you saw like I was just on point this event, I think I was just mentally prepared for what I put my body through in terms of the training that I was doing. The last round, I always try to blow it up. And this is the last round. I always try to make it a point to make sure my last round is the best round too. Oh man, yeah.
Incredible, bro. Incredible to see that in a third round in a final battle, right?
Yeah.
Any other thoughts that you have about this event?
It just gives me goosebumps just thinking about this year. That was the year I wanted to get endorsed by some company. It happened. I manifested that for myself. It just shows that, like I said in the beginning of this interview, I put myself in a position already and I kind of like dreamt about it and I thought about it daily. And I think this is where it really showed right here on this platform of Red Bull BC1, given these opportunities and getting endorsed that following year. It's mind-blowing to me how that kind of stuff happens, you know?
All of a sudden, this feels like an overall theme of this interview. Seeing that vision, daily.
Right.
The reminder that you give yourself every day. Again, even if you haven't quite made it to that point yet, you're going to make it.
Exactly. Even if there's trials and tribulations along the way, that's part of it, dude. And I wish at this time I knew that mentally. Even when things don't go my way, I still gotta keep going. Because I was really bad at taking a loss. Like, I was a hardcore loser. Like, I was a sore loser. Like, literally. I would, think about it all night, not sleep. Like, why the fuck did I just lose? You know what I mean? But I never took the beauty out of that. Like, wow, what could I have done? What didn't I do? Did I get enough sleep that night? It's, I guess, to just shift the perspective. I wish I was able to do that more often. If I learned that around this time, I feel like I wouldn't be in the situation where I am now, which is injury prone, you know what I mean? And just, a little more wiser, but I don't take any of that for granted because I believe that we're here right now at this moment because of whatever we've been through in the past. It's kind of like the lesson that we have to go through in our journey, you know what I mean? So
care mentally, not
absolutely.
Emotionally, right?
A lot of dancers nowadays, I see this a lot. They have goals for themselves, but sometimes it's not realistic goals. Let's say you're a beginner and you want to win a BC1 Cypher. It's possible. But you gotta set something more realistic for yourself, you know what I mean? Like, I just wanna kill my prelim round and whatever happens after that is good. You feel me? Like, to not set yourself to expectations where if you don't meet that, you'll fuck yourself up mentally, right? And like I said, that was me. That was a prime example of myself. I think it's a good and bad thing just to have that competitive nature in you, but to also just be more kind with yourself too, because we're our worst critics and sometimes we don't know how to navigate through that. To really just step out of your mind and just look at it in an outside perspective. Is this really a big deal? Life goes on. We gotta just keep putting in work, good or bad. You'll have your good days, you'll have your bad days. We have to nurture both of those, good and bad. There can't be an amazing day without bad days, right? You can't have a bad day without a good day. They work together, and the moment that you're able to accept that I think is where your craft will evolve and just overall life.
The last clip we're gonna show here is from 2018. Ives, you came out to Detroit a few years back. It was amazing to see you out here with Kareem. The semifinal was electric. You guys took on Ground Illusions from Toronto. Great exchange, going to the tie break.
Yeah.
You get the Sunshine song for the tie break.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you remember about this event?
First off, I've never been to Detroit, so going there was cool to just go to a new scene and a new city you'd never been to. It was cool, and just partnering up with the older brother Kareem was amazing, man. That's my brother right there. Without that guy, I don't think I would be where I'm at in my dance career today.
What do you think?
Man, like I said, we're our worst critic, right? It's cringy watching this footage. The way that I tried to put music first here, I saw it, but to me it was cute. It looked like I was going 100 miles an hour here. I wasn't really taking moments to breathe. Again, looking back around this time, I didn't know how to do that. And I just think that just comes over time, obviously. 2018, like I said, it was a year where I was training daily, and I think that's another thing about training a lot too. Like, when you train, especially training as an athlete, we just go, right? And sometimes that training plays a toll in how you dance. Go. But dance shouldn't be that way. You're there to take your time. You're there to kind of set the tone and set the vibe. That's where I'm at now with my dance. And if I were able to go back in time and tell myself that here, I wish I could have. Because now I look at it as a game of chess. Like, do I really have to go 100 miles an hour? Do I really have to pull this off on you? Do I have to do this? Can I just chill and vibe out and take the dub that way? And I think that's the approach I took yesterday. There's rounds that I did where I was like, okay, I even stopped myself in one of the rounds yesterday. I was like, that's it. I don't have to do it anymore. Like I said, as you just mature and grow up and just accept and take all the criticism that you give yourself, you will see the difference. Especially if you have an outside bias source that is helping you along the way too, is is everything. Shout out to my mentors along my early journey and still influencing me to this day. Rockforce crew in general it has always been a platform for education because there's so much history behind this. There's 4 generations in Rockforce. To just think about that gives me goosebumps because there's always something new I learn about this crew. And to just watch, like, let's say, the Mayas, the Reveals, the Iron Monkeys, the Jeffs, the list goes on, man. And I think to carry that on for me has been the key factor of the longevity in my dance. It's to just adjust as you go. Like I said, I can't do power every day, but I can dance and learn other funk styles. I could learn how to pop and apply that to my dance and shift my dance in a way where I'm still breaking, but really I'm adding other styles to it and meshing it into one. So I really got to give it up to my mentors, man. Shout out Polsky and Johnny UC for just steering me in a way where I am now. I wouldn't be the man I am without those guys, for real. So
that kind of segues to the closer that I have here. What I'm noticing from today's talk really is that these are a lot more applicable life lessons.
Absolutely.
It doesn't just have to apply to breaking. You're talking about Rockforce, surrounding yourself with those right people.
Yeah.
You know, taking inspirations from other things.
Absolutely.
The last question I have for you really is, especially in a time where I feel like breaking might be kind of petering off a little bit in terms of how many people are attending events, how many people are training. Mm-hmm. We're competing in like the open market of, you know, people's attention. People want to do other things.
Yeah.
What kind of advice can you give for those people that, you know, might be compromising breaking because they want to pursue other things?
For me, dance became a lot more enjoyable when I didn't put it first. I learned that about myself. I put dance first, but in putting dance first, which is a good and bad thing, because for me, I learned a lot of life lessons through this dance. When I prioritize dance so much, there's times where you gotta ask yourselves, how can I apply my success to this dance? So like, as you mentioned, to other aspects in life. I think that's the key goal. When Kobe Bryant retired, he won an Oscar for a short film that he did. That right there is a proven fact that the greatness that he instilled on the basketball floor, you could relate that to everything else. For me, that's an ongoing question I'm asking myself daily. The success in this dance, can that work ethic be carried on into other things? Not just dance. That's what I'm trying to advocate for a lot of just creatives nowadays. To say dance for me nowadays, I don't like saying it. I like to say artist, because we are artists and we have to keep that artistry up to stay inspired and to just honestly just be the most authentic version you can of yourself. Get yourself in a zone where you're just vibing out and just feeling free. Everybody's so structured, which is not a bad thing. You need to be structured. But you also need that time where you're just, okay, I don't know what I did there, but I like that feeling. You know, that feeling right there is everything as a creative. If you ask yourself that, I don't know what I just did there, that was crazy. If you tell yourself that, that's growth. You know what I mean? I truly believe that as an artist, you need to find ways to just stay motivated, even if it's just taking a piece of paper and writing down your thoughts. A lot of the things I explain, I try to relate it to life, because we're only human, man, and we can't win every day. We gotta take these L's, we gotta take the dubs, always be a student, man.
Absolutely respect, absolutely honored to be able to help share your story today. Do you have
thank
any
you.
closing thoughts for us before we take off?
Man, I just want to say thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me here. It's always an honor and blessing to just share how I feel about this dance. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on your platform, bro. And I hope it does the best for you, and I hope it keeps growing, man. For everybody watching, stay creative, and you can find inspiration anywhere. Don't think too hard about it either. Keep it simple and just grow, y'all. That's all we can do, is stay curious, keep growing, and remain a student.
Thank you, brother. Really appreciate
Yes, sir.
it. We're out of here. Peace.
Peace.